Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. This is JacQueline with Intuition Power with my friend and visitor here, Alana Heim of Prosperity Alignment. Good morning, afternoon. Well, good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. This is JacQueline with Intuition Power with my friend and
I can hear you talking again.
I know I just cut that off. It's like that would have been good as a ventriloquist trick.
I know, because it was really loud and perfect. And
Uh,
yeah, you just needed to mouth it.
We're going live on YouTube today. Hi, everybody on YouTube and everywhere else that you might be seeing this. So good morning. And that was a surprise. Any other thing in your life ever feel redundant?
It's most days, isn't it? When we're stuck in that rut.
Wait, what was I doing? Didn't I do that already? No.
Mhm.
Uh, so finding and maintaining balance and rolling with the punches, the unexpected things that come up. I took some methylene blue. I think I'm still blue teeth today.
Oh, I got to try that today as well.
It's the biggest craze in my universe of friends and holistic health practitioners, naturopaths. I've been calling them. My intuition is saying, take it. And oh, I'm on it. Oh, I'm on it. I'm on it. And I'm going, well, why haven't you called me to tell me you're on, I should be on it. So then a friend of mine called and said, um, what do you think of it? And I mentioned to her, she said, oh, I'm just researching it. I said, research? I hadn't thought about that. And so she said, yeah, I've got about 2,000 pages that I'm going to read through. And then she sent me the two PDFs that I sent on to you. So I think it's really would be great to, um, why am I taking it? Because my intuition said take it. And
Mm.
I have to say that I've been going through a year of eye surgery that went bad and then it continued and they said you have to have it because of this other thing and blah blah blah. You have no choice. And for one of the first times in my life I listened to the doctors because I trusted them, and it was an interesting beginning, and then it ended up three major surgeries on this one little eye and injections in my eyeball. It's like, oh. Uh,
Mm.
so I started the methylene blue, and within 2 days, the vision, which was there was some internal swelling because of the operation, uh, with all of these things that they're doing to try to get rid of the swelling, within 2 days, I started being able to see through this eye. And within 5 weeks, with corrective glasses that they still keep fixing, I went from 2060 to 2025 in this eye. And the only
Wow.
change was I was taking that substance. So I'm not a doctor. I can't say anything. I'm just sharing my experience of um, blue tongue.
Well, and it's interesting that the topic is finding balance because really that's what I've been seeking health-wise and in my all my bodies and systems. And so I'm just looking at a lot of electrolytes and how to make sure that my body is really getting what it needs. So, you mentioned the methylene blue, and so I just got that, but I had to research as well. It's just, and the thing that I found was the first thing, it was like contraindication, what you absolutely should not take if you have this genetic SNP. And so I've been looking at my genetics. So I immediately was like, where is that? And so it's a G6DP. So if you have this and you're at risk for it, you shouldn't use methylene blue. But everything else pretty much says anyone's good. And I don't have that gene at risk. So I'm just going to start to add that. But I've also started adding in digestive enzymes when I eat meals. And so it's just all these things to, I guess, really just support the body because as we get older, the body continues to not necessarily fall apart, but kind of, it just doesn't run optimally anymore. There's too many things in the world that keep us out of balance. So I'm excited to try this. And I also had read that vitamin C can help absorb a little better with the methylene blue. So this morning, I actually did a glass of water with some lemon juice, just squeeze some lemon and then put the drops in. So I am not blue. It totally was like, yeah, it went down really well and maybe mixed with the lemon. And so that was pleasant to drink, it went down just fine.
Yeah, and when I'm drinking and going, I love this, I love this, I love this. And it just does take like 3 gulps and it's down. But and some people just put it direct, but we are not doctors, we are not prescribing anything, we're chatting amongst ourselves.
About our own experiences.
Right. So finding and maintaining balance, especially at this time on the planet, between the political bombardment every day, you pick up any kind of newspaper, and I would suggest glance at it and put it down. And 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 video, and between, there's a lot of stress out there between the job markets, the energies that are coming in to the planet. I'm into energy, and I know so are you. The the frequencies, the between the stuff that we're getting with the radiation. I have different stickers on. Somebody just got me a specific watch band that lowers um the negative frequencies that are impacting us when we wear like a smartwatch, or and I got one an EMF thing plugged into my house electric thing to help with the grid. I've got other tools that we don't I don't sell here. I'm just sharing. Maybe I should start. But they do impact, because the frequencies are hitting from our sun, our Schumann resonance, which is the natural earth resonance, 7.89 whatever, and it's been fluctuating off the chart. And all of that is impacting our the pressure inside our body, inside and out of our body, our brain, the function and the ability to focus. It affects the cellular health, the integrity of our cells, not only our systems. The foods that are in the United States that are covered with pesticides, and we're eating that poison, plus the soils are not giving the same nutrition because of the strip, I call it strip mining, of the farming techniques that went into place back at least 30 years ago. A carrot, back in, like Robert F. Kennedy said, the carrot that we used to eat, me, when in the 50s and 60s. Yes, I'm that old. Um, and I don't dye my hair yet.
That's awesome.
In the 50s and 60s, because I know the right nutrition to take.
Hmm.
The is you would have to eat like 7 carrots compared to that 1 carrot to get the same nutrition. So it's impossible. So if you're listening to that, if you're not taking supplemental support, I would say, what are you, crazy? um, but also the breath. Right before we went on broadcast today, I was asking Alana about, have you taken any yoga, not just classes, but series of classes? And I was lucky enough to take when I started a radio talk show of my own, and in Los Angeles, and I was stressed out, and it was a big deal. And there was a yoga center that opened up 3 blocks away from my house, and I thought, I can do that. Turns out it was the top yoga instructor worldwide for a company called Sivananda Yoga. And they had about 5 different instructors, classes kind of day and night. And I ended up, every time I went, I would get this one instructor, and they were randomly not the same schedule for each instructor, but you could be sure that there was a class when you wanted it. I would always end up with the same instructor or this other lady out of the about five, I think there were 5 or 6 instructors. And I thought that was interesting. Every time I signed up for a series, they had like 7 or 10 week series. It would be this one instructor. And so that went on for several years. And then I found out that I went away and came back a couple months later after a tour, and that instructor was gone, and so was the other one was gone. And turns out Sivananda, uh, the head guy, had just passed away, and that instructor that I got to take classes from was the choice from a long time ago. When he passes on, this guy is going to be the replacement.
Mm.
So I got to have a world-class yoga instructor um, train me, and we had certain breath techniques. And then I've taken other classes, other places, and they have different breath techniques. Breathe in for 4, hold for 6, breathe out for 5. No, breathe in for 4, hold for 6, breathe out for 4. No, breathe in 3, 2, 5. Everybody's got different techniques that they're sure that's the way it should be. It's kind of like nutrition. Everyone has their own physical, emotional, mental, spiritual component, and it's a little bit different. So not only and there's also something that's very powerful: alternate nostril breathing. You hold one nostril, you breathe in, hold, breathe out, breathe in, hold, breathe out, and you keep doing that, and that naturally our breath shifts back and forth through each nostril every few minutes. So we're breathing in through one nostril, and it's doing something to the brain, and then it shifts over and we're breathing in and out from the other nostril. And it's things that we don't really usually think about or even know about. So breath is, almost every yoga class that I've ever been to, an instructor will sometimes say, breath is the practice. And 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 I've been in different car accident scenes, arrived on different scenes, and for one reason or another ended up holding the person's head as they were waiting for the ambulance or whatever, saying, just breathe with me, just breathe in, breathe out, everything's fine, everything's coming, people are coming, you're okay. And I was told that it's kept people out of going into shock. So breath, finding and maintaining balance, for me, one of the things emotionally, the breath is connected with your emotions. We're a little kid, kids, you've got 3 of them,
Mhm.
and they get angry, they hold their breath, or they get shocked. And that creates an energetic pattern in this whole electrical system, the nervous system, and also records something in the brain. When you can get somebody to breathe balanced, that is immediately a way to maintain balance, calm, homeostasis. What do you have to say about it?
Have you read the book Breath by James Nestor?
No.
I I really appreciated that book because he did give a lot of kind of history, but techniques and different types of breathing, but also he did a lot of study to kind of see the changes in his own body for what could help with breath. And what my biggest takeaway is I actually learned to breathe more and more through my nose, especially while working out. And so I still do it, and I mindfully, I kinda keep hold my lips in, that way I'm not like, because it's so easy to just kind of start to breathe out of your mouth. And why is this so important? I actually had exercise induced asthma that I created when my parents divorced when I was 12. And it took me a good 10 or 12 years to heal that. And so I don't have it anymore. But what I've realized over my life, why did I create that? What did it teach me? It taught me I didn't breathe and I didn't know how to breathe. And I held, just like you're saying, all those emotions, all the grief, all of the pain from the divorce, I never processed. And so when I would work out, when I would run and play soccer, now I'm like, and I can't breathe. And so to help myself, I learned to constantly breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth when I worked out. And that would just, it was just a flow. It was a way that I could regulate. And once I healed it, I didn't, I kept doing that. It was just my new unconscious piece. But in reading that book, which to truly be in my body and work it out, I can tell when I am really getting winded, now I have to breathe out of my mouth. Right. So it's just it's like when people walk, or if you're working out or you're doing things, if you can talk and still be, in a place where you're not totally breathless, very helpful. But the power of the breath with the body, especially when we're pushing it. And if you think of the trauma and stress that people are under, things are happening on the planet, like we're saying, it's so easy to get out of balance. And the first place is that breath regulation. And immediately the emotions want to come up, and we're trying to hold it down. And we're trying not to let it out. And now our breath is getting shallow. Now it's, ramping up. We're hyperventilating even. If we can just pause and keep breathing, whether it's just in and out through the nose. And again, the guy talks a lot about sleep apnea, how people are breathing, they're mouth breathers, basically, not just while they sleep, but while they're out in the world. And I tell you, once you see this, you can't unsee it. And so there were times, even with my husband would be sitting next to me, and I'd be like, "You're mouth breathing," because it's just people are like everywhere, and that's not helpful either. So to really be able to be calm, it's like breathing in deeply and exhaling. It's so powerful. So anyway, that's the piece that I feel like is really important at this place right
So
now.
everybody breathe. And I bet when people are watching, if they're still watching, they're starting to pay attention to their breath. And so there are other things about finding and maintaining balance, getting enough sleep, sleeping at the best opportune hours. I do kinesiology, muscle monitoring, things like that. And there are meridians, energy flows in the body that connect with all the different organs and things. Eastern medicine, acupuncture, there are energy flows through the body, and they are activated at different hours of the day. You got 12 primary, 14 meridians, but 12 what's called bilateral on each side. So we've got 12 daylight, 12 nighttime hours, especially if you're in the equator. But every 2 hours, a different meridian is activated. So heart meridian, lung meridian, kidney, spleen, et cetera, et cetera. And so the sleeping hours from dusk to dawn, like 10 to 6, say, would be kind of really ideal.
Mm.
And so discovery of the electric light didn't really do our health all that well. um, and so because people stay up 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2, 3, 4,
Mm.
and it throws off our circadian rhythms. And as we are working with energy, getting to sleep at an earlier time for a lot of people, but I'm one of them. I'm considered a night owl, and for me to stay up
Mm.
until 12, 1, 2 in the morning is easy. But I have to keep training myself to target getting to sleep, stopping everything at like 10 o'clock, getting to sleep, hopefully getting myself to sleep at 11. Usually as soon as I put my head down, within a minute, I'm out.
Mm.
Um, if I have to wait for like 2 or 3 minutes before I drop off to sleep, usually it's like, what's going on?
Mm.
It's like, just, I usually just unplug. And that's, I think, partly a um a training, and that's, I think, an a result of my years of meditation and learning to move my awareness to different states of frequency, of alignment. But so if somebody has problems counting sheep, going to sleep, if you start training yourself, I believe in meditation, you'll be able to drop into a sleep state a lot faster, easier, naturally, without needing supplements to help you do that. So that's another way of finding and maintaining balance: enough sleep, drinking good water, and enough water. A lot of people are dehydrated and they don't know it.
Yeah. And I think if I'm really looking at it, because for me, it felt like, well, it felt like it was, my electrolytes have not been in balance. And that's primarily because I work out in a sauna and I am literally riding a bike. And although I'm not always going all out, I'm still in there for the 15 minutes and I am sweating and I'm losing a lot of electrolytes. And I think I could, if I now look at it, I definitely wasn't getting to sleep right away. And so I think that's another big piece. And I know a lot of people will take magnesium, and you can take it before you go to bed or certain things, but depending on if we're sleeping well, that's where, like you said, you can go right to bed, hit the pillow, and you're out. And then if you just wake up in the morning, you don't even recall anything, you weren't stirring, that's good sleep. And so it's all of these pieces that, again, I'm also structuring my water, but by blessing it, just giving it love and gratitude, I can imprint it with certain things, but I'm also using minerals in my water. So making sure that I am getting the Celtic salt, or I'm, drinking these things to help replenish. And just like you said, a lot of times people aren't hydrated. I'm someone that only drinks water. So I drink a lot of water, but I was also realizing that if I don't have enough electrolytes, now I'm almost over diluting and drinking too much water because I'm still not hydrated. And so that's such a fine balance of how are you feeling? What is your body getting? What is it absorbing? Which is why I started taking the digestive enzymes with my food to make sure my body can digest the food. I can actually absorb more of the nutrients in the food and potentially receive, if I'm adding minerals in my water and whatnot. And it makes such a difference. Like I can tell I really am sleeping better, more soundly, if you will, and falling asleep easier than I was.
Right, right. That's fantastic. And you're extremely, I would say Alana is advanced. I don't use that term lightly with people because I'm technically trained in universal law, science, philosophy, advanced mysticism, et cetera, because it's been a 45-year blessed journey of working with some of the best people, top people in the world. And some people know I was able to be trained by intuitive mystics for for several years. And then when I was trained, they said, okay, take over Los Angeles. We're leaving. You've got it. And it's like, really? So 1982 is when I opened my first training center in Los Angeles. And having the talk show, I was able to have access to anybody that I wanted to. It's like I'd go to a conference and there'd be somebody like a Greg Braden or something. It's like, can I like chat with you? get the message back, no, sorry. It's like, send the message back. I've got a radio talk show in Los Angeles. Get a message back. Can we have lunch? So I'd end up having lunch with them and then sponsoring them to Los Angeles. And then I would give them secrets and techniques that I learned from other people because I had them, and then I give them stuff and then they give me stuff. And then I have more in my little backpack of goodies of stuff that the researchers don't have the time um or they have um there are certain things at advanced levels that you just don't share with the general public, even in small conferences or retreats. People have to earn a level in order to receive that information. It's like you don't give little kids sharp knives to play with. You don't give 2-year-olds razors to play with. And so you just don't do it. And it's not valuable to them. It's not something like, why can't I have, I want to have all the stuff. No, you don't.
They're not ready for it.
Yeah. You might think you want it shiny and all that stuff. You don't, because it can really, not only is it a powerful tool, but it can hurt yourself or others very, very easily. So there are advanced levels of um, insight awareness tools that exist that people can earn the right to have. But you don't, like a lot of people do yoga and they just do spontaneous yoga and they might show up in the same gym class, which is not the same as taking an official 10-week yoga course. Because in the 10-week yoga course, the instructors that I used to have would actually explain each position and you're doing it as you're doing it. And you start to learn as you're breathing through what's going on in the body, what's happening, what's going on in the body, mind, spirit, why this position, how to make sure that it's more in alignment for your body, not just in alignment in general, but to customize it and personalize it because everybody's different. And to understand the why and the how to fix it and all that stuff. That's where it's obviously yoga instructor is a lot more advanced than just the practitioner in general. So taking classes and really committing yourself at this point in time is, I would say, it could become it I want to use the word should, and I don't want to use that word, but it might become a lifelong process for everyone until you get to the place. Even I'm always impressed with Alana because of your advanced state of perception with people and how you can read people instantly and help ground them in a very fast process when you start working with them. So can you say a little bit of how you work with people?
Well, I just want to say thank you because we're all in it and we don't always see it for ourselves. And that's my sense. But for me to articulate that myself, I probably wouldn't say it as concise or eloquently as you just did. There is that perception piece. And it's really through the embodiment. I mean, when you are talking about yoga right now, I want to just distinguish the difference of it's not practicing yoga, it's embodying yoga, right? Embodying everything that you just said. If you have this teacher, this master that can help you understand, really know and stand within the move and connecting the body with spirit and the breath, that's very different than being like, oh yeah, I do yoga. you don't do yoga. I mean, more yoga is going to do you and, be with you. And so,
I have to say, I went to I moved to Marin County, north of San Francisco, which is a very exclusive area. And I went to this yoga center, and I was in the back. I put my mat in the back, and I'm watching, and people are doing this and that and the other. And the young woman who's like 23 years old, who like is at a pretzel, she can do all the things, but her instruction, I noticed they had a full-time masseuse working at the facility. And when I started to see how people were in alignment and not in alignment and holding these positions where they're like, and my training not as a yoga instructor, but as a from all of these top teachers, I was just like kind of laughing and crying at the same time, looking at that, looking at as they're holding these positions and understanding that they're really hurting themselves, and going, man, that masseuse is going to make a fortune because what they're doing is, and they don't know. And the instructor was totally out, either totally out to lunch or totally unconscious to what she was doing in terms of telling people to hold this position and not going around and doing any kind of comments or adjustments for their alignment. And it was really pretty funny and sad at the same.
mm,
So
it was like the modernization of yoga in business in this world, where
oh,
how do we make money and how do we create the funnel and like let's bring these people into these positions where they hurt themselves and now we have the next person who can help.
I walked in one day and I put on my mat, and there's music in the room, and we're, people are coming in, and sometimes they come in and lay down and just relax, waiting for the class to start. And playing on the loudspeaker is rap music, gangster rap music, low. And I was like, no, no, I'm not relaxing to this word salad crap. So I go in, and it's like, are you the instructor? She goes, yeah. And I said, do you think that music is appropriate? Oh, you don't like it? It's like, that's not quite the point. I don't think it's
Hmm.
appropriate at this moment. So she turned it off, didn't even turn anything else on. And then the last time that was the first class. The second class was the alignment thing with her. And then the third class, I thought I'll give it one more time. And it was a special evening thing. Because everybody put your mats all together, no empty spaces in between. Come on, push them all together. And then it was an evening class. She got a disco ball, and she turned on the disco ball, and she's doing this. It was like I walked out. Like, I don't know what you want to call it, but don't call it yoga.
Right. And I know we're in a space of the melting pot and things are all coming into each other and then it evolves into this other piece. And what you're speaking about with yoga is the art of yoga, embodiment of it, the origination piece that's missing, especially more in our Western society, that it's a relaxation technique, right? It's a move your body exercise kind of thing. And there is space for it to come together if you know that that's the intention. Like, I am going to bring the practice of yoga. And if you truly have a teacher that already embodies that energy, then they can still be playful and have fun. But what
Right,
you're saying is that wasn't the foundation. It wasn't there.
right. Call it something else. But yoga, the word actually means yoke, which is a connection of body and spirit, that that integration. And so call me older, traditional, or whatever, but there's a reason for that. And so I'm not saying don't do a class like that, but be aware that, and so I called up my main yoga instructor for years later. I had a 20-year practice with him, and he was one of the top instructors in Los Angeles. And uh, luckily he was a friend of mine before, 15 years ago, 10 years went by, and I went away, he went away, and we came back. And he goes, come to my yoga class. And I go, you teach yoga? Like, where did that come from? I knew you for like 15, 20 years. And like, and all of a sudden he says, yeah, well, I was a gymnast when I was in high school and stuff like that. And I knew he was unusual because he did like 3 years of silence, when he was in his 20s, and when he was working, he just took a job washing dishes so he could just go into silence for 3 years. And he was living in Marin County, I guess. And he did that. So he's always been on a conscious track of discovering and finding within himself that source or God or inspiration. And but so I called him up and I said, this is this yoga that here in Marin. And he starts laughing and he says, that's why you never take a yoga class for anybody under 45 or 50. So anyway, God bless us all. Just choose wisely and be aware, and breathe.
And recognize we're all on our own journeys. So just because you are seeking this yoga piece or this breath piece, and maybe you are like JacQueline and you give it a shot and you go in for a couple classes and it's not for you, it doesn't mean the whole thing is not for you. It's just the way in which it's being taught, or maybe you can feel beneath it the energy around the person, the class, the location. I mean, we're talking there are energies all over. And you asked me, how do I work with people? And it is this piece of getting to your truth, remembering who you are, what feels aligned, what is the path you're meant to be on. And there are detours or roads that you wish you didn't take, but they were exactly meant for you because you've had to learn that's not the yoga I want. This is, right? Sometimes we need that polarity of what it isn't to what it is and the journey along the way. And I feel like that's what helps you to embody more of your true essence versus trying to just go listen and take in everybody's information and then regurgitate it. And I think that's the bigger piece is that's everywhere. And more when your heart and your soul can feel that somebody is just the ventriloquist piece that we mentioned in the very beginning. It's just their talking mouth, but there's no heart in it. There's really no soul alignment. Then they're just a distraction. Move on until you do find the person that really lands, has the pieces of information, and that you're ready to even ask the questions, learn from the journey. Because just like you mentioned, JacQueline, not everybody's ready for what's out there. We think we want it all, but are you still the child in a way that you're not ready to go cut with the steak knife, and you still need the little baby knife or whatever it may be, because there's a part of your journey that still is in progress. But once you hit it, it's that knowing, and then the question comes. And once you have the question, now go ask it because the answer will be there for you.
Right. And by the way, Alana co-taught a class with me a few months ago, almost beginning of last year. And it was Clear Set Get. And I'm going to see if I can talk her into, we haven't talked about this, into doing it again with me, because it was really powerful. So we'll talk about that, and maybe we'll have an announcement soon. I'm hoping. No putting you on the spot. But we're coming toward the end of the year. We're coming into the holiday season. I just saw a bunch of people buying Christmas ornaments already. It's not even Halloween. Wait,
It's close, but yeah, we still have another week.
but it started. So anyway, everything's going to go really, really quickly. I want to encourage people to start to, I either you're going to work with me or not. I don't care. I mean, I do care, but because she's so much fun to work with. It's great. But I'm going to start encouraging people to start to take a few minutes and start to look at where they want to move into and through 2026 early, and to really in that mix start to really take the time, set it up first, getting through the holidays and on. And there's some, and part of the reason why I wanted to start extra early this year for next year is because of the frequencies and the energies, the stuff coming in. 2 days ago, there was a new moon with a meteor shower and these two objects going by. You were supposed to be able to see it in the naked eye. I went out for a few minutes and didn't see much, but I didn't get in the car and go up to the mountain top to get away from the little bit of light. What do they call it? Light interference. But I did get out there and getting the rays. But the frequencies, the thing called the Schumann resonance is off the chart. It's going off the chart, especially the 30th of this month. So what I've heard from a lot of different sources is that the intensity of some of the rays that are coming through, it's like they don't know when that kind of thing has happened in recorded history. So all the things we've been talking about leading up to, it's only like a week away, to practice your breathing. Make sure you're drinking water. Just if you have sleeping patterns that are different, then just work on, for the next 10 days, get to sleep earlier, get to sleep at a closer time to, I don't know,
Really, yeah, whatever your body
9
needs. Like
o'clock.
if you're already yawning and it's 7:30 and you're like, oh, it's too early, but you're yawning, maybe it's time to go to bed tonight at 8.
Yeah, and that's what happens with me. And it's like my brain goes, it's too early. I don't want to get up at 3 in the morning. It's like my least favorite time to be up.
Mhm.
Going on a trip, and even then I don't like being up at that time. So like 3 to 6 in the morning, I like being asleep. And if I go to sleep early, so I'm shifting my I don't like it, the little kid.
Mhm. And you can recode your cells and yourself, and you could even say, we're going to sleep in. Let's
Right,
sleep in till, at least this time. And it's just like that circadian rhythm you mentioned earlier. It's re-establishing your own inner clock. And it's those moments where it's kind of like this morning, even. I already woke up before my husband's alarm was going to go off. And I just kind of knew, like, this feels like it's about the time. And I look and I was like 5 minutes ahead of the game, and so it's those things that you can play with, and you're also going to be really playing with that embodiment piece of being in tune with your body, with your own rhythms, with your own truth and intuition.
right. So prosperityalignment.com, and contact Alana Heim, and we'll talk about more. And I talked to her and she said, you said, uh, you'd be willing to meet me once a week and we have conversations. So
Yeah.
thank you for pressing that like button and press the share button. And you never know who this might impact in a powerful, positive way. So if we're all warriors, hard to say. Can you say that word?
Warriors.
Warriors on the path of life, and everybody knows somebody that's stressed out and they could benefit by having little reminders. So thank you for sharing this, and thank you for being a part of the movement to create a better world. And that's why we're here. I'm JacQueline, intuitionpower.com, and we'll see you next week.